The Global Reforestation Organization directory provides standardized information on more than 125 major tree planting organizations, making it easier for donors to compare groups and find the ones that match their priorities. Researchers from the University of California, Santa Cruz evaluated groups across 4 categories: permanent, ecological, social, and financial, each backed by scientific literature on best practices. Much of the evaluation relies on the organization's self-reporting through surveys or website statements, and while researchers acknowledge this limitation, they say it still provides a valuable framework and a starting point for donors. The directory doesn't rank organizations, but rather shows what organizations publicly share about following scientific best practices, avoiding common mistakes, and monitoring their results. Planting trees is something most people can get behind, and tens of thousands of reforestation projects now operate worldwide. However, for donors and funders who want to support these efforts, it can be hard to identify which organizations to trust with their money, and even more difficult to determine which are effective. I would give talks and people would ask, who should I donate my money to? Karen Hull, a professor at the University of California, Santa Cruz arts and reforestation expert, told Mongabay. There was really no standardized way to answer the question. So how can a tree investor decide what organizations to support? What questions should ensure money goes toward the best outcomes for biodiversity, climate, and people? A forest corridor planted by local community as part of Instituto de Pesquisas Ecológicas IP Corridors for Life project in Brazil's Atlantic forests. Photo courtesy of IP. To help answer those questions, Hull and post-doctoral researcher Spencer Schubert spent more than a year evaluating intermediary organizations, the major groups that channel funding and resources to local tree planting projects around the world. Between October 2024 and June 2025, the team contacted more than 123 organizations. 70 completed detailed surveys, while researchers performed systematic reviews of websites and public reports for the rest. Mongabay has now launched this research as the Global Reforestation Organization Directory. The directory was developed in collaboration with Mongabay, and the research was funded by the Center for Coastal Climate Resilience and the MacArthur Foundation Chair at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Click the image to open the Global Reforestation Organization Directory website in a new tab. Image by Mongabay and visuality. What this directory does and doesn't do: the Global Reforestation Organization Directory provides standardized information about the public commitments and transparency of more than 125 major tree planting organizations, making it easier for donors to compare groups and find the ones that match their priorities. The directory doesn't rank organizations or judge individual projects. It also does not recommend projects. Instead, it shows what organizations publicly share about following scientific best practices, avoiding common mistakes, and monitoring their results. It's not a rank ordering of groups, Hull said. It's also not a rigorous third-party verification of projects. We did not go into the field and check projects. What it does provide is standardized information for comparison. We're setting the norm of what the standards are, Hull said. Before this, nobody had the information to compare organizations. Women planting seedlings in one of the oldest remaining dry Afro-montane forests in Ethiopia. Photo courtesy of DV Century Forest. It's important to note that this directory focuses on intermediary organizations that fund multiple initiatives, which differs from Mongabay's existing reforestation app database that documents individual tree planting projects. Since a single reforestation project can involve many different organizations working together, and projects from the same organization can look very different depending on where they are, it's important for donors to have information about both the organizations and the individual projects. Much of the project evaluation relies on the organization's self-reporting through surveys or website statements. The researchers acknowledge this limitation, but argue it still provides value. Many people use Charity Navigator, which is also based partially on self-reported data, Hull said. Our site is a place to start. Right now, nobody has any information. The researchers did verify some things, such as whether organizations' monitoring protocols and financial reports actually exist online, and the availability of public tree survival data. They also reviewed certification standards when relevant, such as Vera, Plan, Vivo, and the Global Biodiversity Standards. Many organizations are collecting data, but then there isn't a follow-through on the public reporting side, Schubert said. There's a disconnect. The absence of information on an organization's website doesn't necessarily mean the organization has neglected those criteria. Some excellent programs may lack the staff or resources to maintain public dashboards. However, transparency signals that an organization understands the complexities involved in reforestation and has the capacity to organize, monitor, and report results. Pekin Andina, the flagship initiative of the intermediary organization Global Forest Generation, showcases specific project locations and details on their website. As an investor, picking the right organization matters. Not all tree planting efforts pack the same punch, and while increasing tree cover has many potential benefits, it can also have negative consequences, such as destroying diverse grasslands, introducing invasive species, and displacing deforestation into remnant forests. Projects also have the potential to benefit or harm the communities they involve. With this in mind, the researchers created an evaluation that assigns points across 4 categories: permanence, ecological, social, and financial, each backed by scientific literature on best practices. The 4 tenets: permanence, ecological, social, and financial. The first category, permanence, examines whether trees are surviving and tree cover is increasing over time. The category investigates whether organizations have standards in place for picking effective projects, and if these projects actually address the causes of deforestation. Permanence also involves land tenure, as well as making sure organizations have strong maintenance and monitoring plans. We've graduated from asking how many trees did they plant to has tree cover increased over time. Shubitser, the second category, ecological, asks whether projects are planting the right trees in the right places. The category evaluates tree species selection. Are they